So, Devstream 120 ended not so long ago, and in it we got a sneaky peeky at a few bits and bobs that will hopefully eventually make their way into Warframe sometime soon. First up, we know that Fortuna will drop on consoles this Monday, the 10th of December, so you guys on PlayStation 4 and on the Xbox will soon be able to jump out into Orb Valis and run around with your adventures with the kit guns, the K drives, the Moa pets, the floofing, and so on. So make sure and enjoy it. Next up, we got a look at our newest Warframe, or a proper first look at Baruuk. So Baruuk was kind of first pitched to us as being this pacifist Warframe, a frame that gets pushed to the limits before eventually pushing back, a frame that in a way is a little bit reluctant to actually fight, but fecking good at it when he wants to. Now of course there is a tribal influence with him, with his visuals and with his audio as well, but he was kind of pitched as being a monk, and it had me hoping for something along the lines of the monk in Diablo 3, and honestly I don't think it's too far off. It's pretty damn good. So we got a look at his ability set as well during the dev stream. We got a look at seeing what he can actually do. So his first ability is called Elude. This is an energy channeling ability, a kind of damage evasion which works in a frontal cone. So enemies in front of you, of course, you will evade their damage. So bullets actually passed through his midsection during the dev stream, and the effects for this were pretty trippy, but they looked really effective as well. It looked like a solid ability. Now having this active will build Baruuk's edge meter. Fucking edge meter. Now he kind of needs this edge meter to activate his ultimate ability, or to make the most out of it. Now this edge meter also scales with his damage reduction, so the higher that his edge meter is, the more edgy you are, I guess, the less damage you will actually take, the more damage reduction he has. Now his next ability is called Sedative, and this is a slow building radial sleep. So enemies slow down a bit and then go to sleep, not quite as fast as what Equinox can do with her sleep ability, but they kind of gradually fall asleep. Now the visual effect of this ability will linger a little bit after you've cast it, so enemies can still walk into it and then be put to sleep, and then if they wake up, they will wake up a little bit dazed and confused, and of course bonus damage for allies from finishers and everything that goes with enemies being asleep. Now Sedative also builds up that edge meter, so all of his abilities tend to build this edge meter, which of course will give him that damage reduction and also help him when it comes to using his ultimate. Now his next ability is called Subdue. This gives Baruuk charges, or floating daggers that go around him, that will seek out enemies and disarm them. So they don't deal much damage, they will just disarm those enemies. Now these daggers can also jump to teammates if there's no enemies around. Some of them can make their way onto a teammate and allow that teammate to run around and have a few disarming charges attached to them as well. So it's quite good for a squad. So that's his first three abilities. Now Baruuk, like I said, his meter scales with damage reduction. His Elude gives him damage evasion. His Sedative gives enemies sleep effect, and his Subdue will disarm enemies. He's a full crowd control and damage mitigation Warframe until he uses his ultimate ability, which looks bloody awesome. The animations for it are bang on when you're thinking about a monk. Now his ultimate ability during the dev stream, I'm not sure if this was a placeholder name or not, maybe it wasn't, but it is called Savagery, and it basically gives Baruuk the use of a set of fist exalted weapons, a lot like monks in Diablo again, but these were codenamed Pacifist, which I thought was really cool. Whether they keep that name or not, I'm not entirely sure. Now the way this ability works is with every kind of punching combo it sent out a wave of energy in front of him. So attacking while moving forward with the moving combos will push enemies away and deal damage, and if you've got block active when you're doing these combos, then it will pull enemies towards you. If you do a attack while sliding with these passive fists out, you will lift enemies up into the air that will have a slow motion attached to them, so that you can punch them again if you want to, or you can maybe do a little bit of Grenadier clay pigeon shooting, you know, punch them up into the air and then whip out your gun and start shooting them. So each type of melee attack that he does with this exalted fist weapons seems to have a different effect attached to them. So with all of the damage reduction, evasion, crowd control, knockbacks, ragdolls and damage from his ultimate ability as well, it seems that Baruuk is a pretty hands-on Warframe with a huge amount of potential. But And this is a big but. We got to see what you guys in the community can actually do with him, how you go about building him, and how good you can actually get him. So that's pretty much Baruuk, the Reluctant Warrior. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of him and of course his ability set. Now the energy drain numbers and the damage numbers you've seen during the dev stream are all placeholder, or else if it was damaged then chances are those fists weren't modded, which meant you were seeing really small amounts of damage. So again, we got to wait and see what they can actually do. Next up, we got a look at Mesa Prime, who will be coming with the Akjagara Prime, which I think all of us knew was coming soon anyway, because I think I had a video on the Akjagara Prime about 4 months ago when it was shown off at TennoCon, the art for it. So up until now, a lot of you have been guessing about previous Prime accesses, thinking that the Akjagara Prime was coming with them, but it seems that Mesa was the perfect fit for a set of pistols, as well as the Redeemer Prime. So the full package is Mesa Prime, Redeemer Prime, and of course the Akjagara Prime as well. Now, I gotta be honest here, this, in my eyes, is probably the best looking Prime Warframe I've seen yet in game. And I'm not just saying that, okay? I'm not just saying that because of the assless chaps, okay? I promise. Visually, she looks fucking stunning. That hat looks great, and the face mask as well, but maybe it's just a combination of having the Redeemer Prime on our back while also having the Akjagara in each hand as well. Now, this Prime access will drop on the 18th of December, so you don't have a whole lot to wait. Not far away, and I am curious as to what kind of Prime accessory pack will be coming with this Mesa Prime access. Hopefully something that fits really well with the whole cowboy aesthetic. Now, they quickly also showed us the Limbo Deluxe skin visuals as well, which looked great, but for some reason he had no feet. Whether that's going to stay like that or not, I don't know. I know some players have a little bit of a thing against Warframe having weird feet, like Oberon gets a lot of stick for it. We got a look at the Equinox Deluxe skin again, who got a little bit of a colour and shape change, but not a whole lot. We got to see artwork for a Wukong Deluxe skin, which was shown, and it looked amazing. But will Wukong be getting a rework? It's something they slightly touched on. They said that they know he needs a rework or a touch-up of some kind, and do intend to give him one, maybe to coincide with the release of this deluxe skin whenever it gets made, because it is in basically the earliest of stages right now, which gives them plenty of time to actually work on a decent Wukong rework. Now, they spoke a bit about the upcoming Fortuna 2 update, which will have quite a lot of content to it, like the Orb Mother fights, which I know a lot of the PC community can't wait to jump in and start killing some of these big corpus spider bots. Now, in order to start these fights, apparently you're going to need to have a minimum amount of standing with the Vox Solaris reputation in order to start these heists, where you will be working together with some of the NPCs in Fortuna, some of the guys in that back room beside Little Duck, and that the first orb encounter, the first orb fight that's going to be released is called the Prophet Taker. So Scott recently told us while doing that Q&A on my Twitch stream that each orb fight will be released one at a time. They're not all getting released at the same time. They're going to stagger them, and that there will be some kind of a lore attached to each one, and that the heists will require your squad to work together in order to be able to deal damage to them and eventually bring down their defenses. Now, they showed us a very small teaser for this Prophet Taker, and this was it.
Work is just beginning. We're going to try to take down an old mother.
So you kind of get the bare basics with that little bit of a teaser, and yes, Rhino was using the Grattler, the Arcwing weapon, but he had it while running around on the ground. Now, we knew that this feature was on its way into Warframe. They showed it, I think, back at maybe TennoCon, somewhere around that, but it seems that the Fortuna 2 update is when they're actually going to implement it. Now, expect changes to these Arcwing weapons when running them on the ground, which we'll know more about at a future date. There are more mods coming for Arcwing weapons, and the Arcwing mods that we have right now are still going to be the mods that you will actually use in order to deal damage, which in my opinion is a shame. I think we've got way too many mods in the game for way too many different features or different types of weapons. It would have been nice if we could have just used our normal rifle, shotgun, sniper mods and so on the Archwing weapons as well. But it is, I guess, what it is. Now, they did also show us that corpus enemies or other enemies will be able to run around with some of these Archwing weapons to use against you. So there's going to be a lot of fun times ahead where you're getting shot by huge ass feckin' weapons. Now, Steve did quickly kind of mention to the others about Fortuna 2 possibly dropping next week, but that got shot down right away because it would be asking a little bit too much of them, and then it would maybe be just rushed out, and I'd rather the product was finished than rushing it out in a little bit of a mess. Now, we know that Nyx and Titania are both getting touch-ups or reworks with that Fortuna 2 update as well. I have a video on both of those from last week going over what all of those changes are, but during this dev stream we got to see how damn powerful Nyx's mind controlled unit will be. She had a butcher dealing over 2000 bonus damage against, I guess, his own people because he was mind controlled. You basically mind control him, bring a really powerful weapon, sink as much of your own damage into him over, I think it's 4 seconds, and that will ramp up how much damage he will actually put out. Now, this dude was an absolute wrecking machine. He was one-shotting everything. So of course this will be much more powerful if you mind control a heavy gunner or a bombard or anything that's going to put out a whole shitload of damage. Now, we did see other topics during the dev stream like new UI themes, new floofs and some other minor bits as well, but it is worth noting that they did start the stream off by addressing the community moderation topics that are all over Reddit and of course the Warframe forums for the last week or two, or even for the last few months. It's been gradually getting worse and worse and it hasn't really been addressed, so they chose the start of the dev stream to do that. Over the last few months, one of the hottest debates or topics in the Warframe community has been about the in-game chat moderation and how it seems to have gotten way too damn sensitive or just way out of control. It is supposed to be a mature game after all, so I'm not going to talk too much about it because they are trying to address it themselves, but players have been getting banned by moderators who a lot of players feel are trying to push their own agenda in order to get people banned. So in order to fix this, DE are trying to get someone else in, an outside company, to come in and check their chat moderation to see if it is up to industry standards and to regulate the game's chat a bit better than what's been going on lately. So if you've been following that topic, then hopefully this all sorts it out and it gets put to bed, fingers crossed. But that's all of DevStream 120. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of everything that was shown off, Mesa, Prime, Baruuk and so on. Do me a huge favour and hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, or don't if you didn't. Subscribe for more Warframe, and as always, thanks very much for watching.